Joining me now, as he does each and every week, is Sky News Australia's media watchdog columnist, Gerard Henderson. Gerard, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, we've got a bit of a photo to bring up on the screen to discuss because you've pointed out that the ABC News, during a massive Pentagon press event, ran dead on the event. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was watching it. It was a bit after 10 o'clock on the Thursday night. It was a bit after 8 o'clock in Washington, D.C. in the morning. And I looked on this photograph from Sky News. If you look across the top of the screen, everyone's focused on the Pentagon, everyone except ABC TV News 24, which has sort of gone out for a cup of tea or something.
Agile, aren't
they? At an early night. But it was a riveting press conference. It was a cracker. There was attacks on the media. There was detailed analysis of what went on. It was a terrific media conference, and everybody understood it, except what's supposed to be Australia's leading organisation with news and current affairs, which of course it isn't, but they just completely missed it. I mean, it's hard to say how you would miss something so important as that, and it wasn't late at night. I mean, it was 10 o'clock, but it wasn't late at night, and somehow they just missed it. Then it was very easy to plug into it, and they've got John Lyons over there interpreting the Trump administration to us mere mortals here in Australia. And
well, he's on a good wicket. He should get up and take the press conference.
Where was he? It was only 8 o'clock in the morning. He could have got up.
Now, it's something that the ABC does and was criticised quite heavily even by Media Watch at the time, the Bondi stabbing.
Yes.
When it's like a weekend or late at night, they don't seem to kind of have the people in there with the initiative to say, that's a ripper story. You've got Hegseth, who's blasting the media, who's yelling at everybody. Maybe we should take this moment.
Well, I think the problem there is it's overmanaged. I mean, there are too many managers. Around this place, Sky News, they're not that many. I mean, you know, you can see them on the floor.
Few and far between.
But if you take them, we've discussed it before, the Latouf case, for example, that went through 6 levels of management in one morning. And so you have too many managers and no one will make a decision. But it was pretty easy what to do. I mean, they just have to close down what they were doing and take a
I reckon they all want to work 9 to 5 Monday.
Well, I think it's that sort of mentality there. It's not. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're not after advertisers. They've got guaranteed funding. It's not like a commercial operation where you need to perform. You don't really. I mean, you want to perform, but you don't really have to perform.
Yeah, I'm really proud of how we stack up against their $1 billion budget on these big events. I just think we really just hit above what our resourcing is. But look, moving on, we've got insiders, and they had a bit of their cartoon segment when they review it. Let's have a look at it.
We seem to stumble from one Trumpastrophe to another. He shocked the world again using stealth bombers. It's not so much the Manhattan Project as the Mad Hatton Project.
Spare a thought for the poor dove, what it must be like to be trapped in there.
This is your cartoon, Glenn. Dove of Peace here is not going to outrun the mushroom cloud.
Oh, Gerard, spare a thought for the poor dove. What is the dove representing here?
Well, I guess it represents the theocracy in Iran, I think.
The murderous,
the
theocratic, evil regime.
The oppressors of women, of gays, they're the mullahs. That seems to be the dove. And of course, you've got Glenn on there as a card. So he comes on first and he's talking about his own cartoon. So he thinks it's pretty good, and Mike Bowles thinks it's pretty good. And as they get to the end, he comes back with another of his own cartoons, and they both think it's pretty good. But this one here is particularly obnoxious in a way because, well, of the 11 that they showed, 9 of them were hostile to the United States, and not one of them was critical of Iran. There were 2 others that were on slightly different subjects, focused on Australia, like Jonathan Leake got in briefly. But it was essentially just a sort of a rant of Australian cartoonists bagging the United States. Well, I mean, if they had been attacking someone else, if they had been attacking Canada, for example, you would understand it. But I mean, they were bombing nuclear facilities in Iran, and but Glenn just thought it was all about an attack on the dove of the peace dove, you know, give peace a chance, all that sort of stuff.
It's incredible that any serious person can look at that whole saga and think, oh, gee, that poor regime in Iran. You know, how dare Donald Trump stop them from enriching uranium to 60% capacity?
A strike against humanity is sort of really...
A strike against humanity.
But the talking pictures thing is very much... I mean, Mark Bowles is ex-Guardian, now at the New Daily. Most of the cartoonists who come in to talk about it, I mean, I'll explain that on my media watchdog tomorrow when it comes out. I mean, virtually all of them are left of centre or leftist cartoonists, and they all basically agree with one another. It's a bit like the ABC as a conservative-free zone, just another manifestation of that.
Yeah. Well, another topic that you've brought out is the ABC's Planet America hosts. They're kind of drummed up as experts.
Yeah.
But how have their predictions fared over time? Let's listen to one of these predictions.
Trump right now is at the zenith of his power. It only goes down from here. He becomes a lame duck or a lame dog, so to speak, from here.
Thank you for that.
How did that prediction fare, do we think? A lame duck.
Well, this comes out of what they call the Situation Room at the ABC, where they analyse the United States, and that was in December 2024. We're now into July 2025, and if there's ever a president who wasn't a lame duck in his second term or in any term, it's President Trump. Well, I mean, whether you agree with him or not, I mean, there's been an incredible 6 months. And so what Chaz is saying with his great expertise and his taxpayer-funded Situation Room is predicting on Late Night Live with David Marr, who merely thanks him for the comment that Trump is going to be a dead duck, a lame duck president, or he actually called him a lame dog at one stage. And of course, it's just hopelessly wrong. I mean, people make predictions like this and most people forget them. I try to remember them, but I mean, it just shows you that, what it shows you is that Chaz's hostility to Trump, or his dislike of Trump, is such that he sort of wishes him to be a lame duck. And I can understand why some people might do that. But that doesn't mean he will be a lame duck. If anyone knew anything about Trump, that's the least thing he's likely to be. And he's still got 3.5 years to go. And I think he'd be pretty lively for correct reasons or otherwise. I mean, I don't agree with his stance on Ukraine, for example. But I mean, I see he's doing things. He's certainly not a lame duck.
Yeah, and it's even the very left-leaning journalists in America, no one serious is making that as an allegation. Donald Trump can be many things. He can be destructive on tariffs. He can be hurting super. He can be doing things that a reasonable person can agree are not the best interest for Australia, particularly on some of these conversations that we're having. But to suggest that he's somewhat impotent in how he acts, it's a complete misunderstanding.
Well, it's just Chaz. I mean, you know, he's one of the former chaser boys. Average age now, I think, is 49.5 for these boys. They're pretty old boys now. But he presents himself as an expert in America. But, I mean, essentially what he is into wish fulfilment. I mean, he'd like that to be the case. But
he'd like it to fizzle.
Well, that's the trouble with prophecies. Most of them are wrong, you know.
Yeah, try not to make them. Gerard Henderson, thank you so much for joining us, as always.